Welcome to the second episode of Focus. In this episode, we are tackling an extremely important topic. We're talking about concrete slabs in construction of houses. I consider concreting not to be a trade. Concreting is an art. And when it's coming at such a vital and important stage of the build, being the foundation and the slab works, we need to give it the focus it deserves. I went around collecting information from various sources. My own build, talking to building inspectors, talking to building surveyors, and analyzing 4 years of data coming from the VBA. And here is what the data is telling us. There are 5 particular defects that we need to avoid when we are working out the slab works, concrete works at the slab stage. Number 1, compaction of soil. The details about compaction is relative to the soil type, and we need to be aware of the requirements, and we need to make sure that the soil is compacted. Otherwise, we are giving a chance to the settlement to happen after the slab is completed, and hence the movement is too much for the slab and it can result in cracking. Number 2, the vapor barrier. The vapor barrier, as you know, is the plastic that is put under the slab, and we've got a number of hints in there that we can use. Number 1, all the penetrations have to be taped. Number 2, the joints in the sheets have to be, according to the standard, it doesn't have to be taped, but there is a 200 mil of overlap, and most concreters tape it anyway. Excellent, well done. Number 3, we need to give enough space underneath, because I've seen so many times the sheets, the vapor barrier just spread on the surface, and it ignores the excavation and the shape of the excavation, which means as soon as the weight of the concrete goes on the plastic rips. So we need to be very careful with that. I also am a big fan of a detail coming in the NCC, which originally talks about the deep edge rebate, and what you could be doing is you roll up the poly, you roll up the plastic, and you put it under the bottom row of masonry, the bricks. Okay, here is the detail for you on the screen. Issue number 3 that we need to be careful with is concrete cover. Concrete cover is the amount of concrete covering the steel rail, and if it's not adequately done, as you know, you need 20, 30 or 40 mil of coverage depending on where that is, and if you don't give it enough coverage, that can lead into the reinforcement steel rusting, and that causes concrete cancer. So many reports would also tell you that another concern number 4 we need to focus on is honeycombing in the slab. See, in this picture you've got honeycombing identified, but it's too late to fix. The best you can do is cosmetically cover it. Structurally, it's too late to impact it. What causes honeycombing, in very simple terms, is not enough or no vibration at all during the pour. Okay, vibration is another form of compaction, and it's extremely important because it lets the air bubbles out from around the steel. So wherever there is steel, you need to be vibrating. I like a publication coming from the CCAA, Cement, Concrete and Aggregates Australia, and it talks about vibrating during the pour, and it gives a particular technique to follow, because if you don't do it right, you are causing harm. But then again, I also like a statement in the book that says you'd rather do it too much than too little. Okay, you need to be vibrating the slab. This is cause of big dramas later on, and then sometimes the builder has to convince the client that it's settlement the ground, and by all means the ground moves, indeed it does, but is it the source of all the dramas we are seeing? Could part of this be avoided? I personally believe that this is the case. Now let's talk about concrete curing. I personally think that not many concreters at all in the residential market do curing properly. As a defect number 5 that we need to focus on and avoid at any cost is curing of the slab. It doesn't happen enough. It doesn't get the focus it deserves. So many publications in there, including the NCC, but under a particular note for South Australia, it tells you that you need to cure your slab with no work happening on it, no loading happening on it for at least 7 days. You need to know that in 7 days, the slab has mostly reached 70% of its strength. You're not even there yet. Ideally, you do it for 28 days. But as an absolute minimum, cure the slab for 7 days before working on it. In summary, we've got 5 points we'll be focusing on. Enough compaction to the substrate, good detailing to the vapor barrier, adequate concrete cover, avoiding honeycombing by doing enough vibration during the pour, and properly curing your slab for an absolute minimum of 7 days, if not 28 days. By doing that, it's guaranteed you will end up with a better slab, you will end up with a stronger slab, you will end up with a more durable slab. A properly cured slab is also less permeable, leading to less problems with efflorescence, cracks, and the likes. Before I let you go, I would recommend those 3 publications, and I'll link them in the comments. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.